Good. Fade to black. And we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for December 6th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Indiana Jones reviews are out, and should we be turning up the hype for the Game Awards? But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Tamoor Hussain, everybody.
Tam, I'm here. I'm going to show people because they demanded it.
Yeah, they demanded to see the shirt.
The shirt.
By way of Andy Cortez. Yeah, look at that thing. Yeah.
How far can I go?
You can go here. Walk a step toward your monitor, towards the TV. Now just do a hop to the left. Yeah, and now he did the time warp again. Everybody, hooray!
Hell yeah!
Looking very good. I like that a lot. It's very nice.
Thank you.
Also, new setup, huh?
Yeah, new setup. I'm running a Mac Mini. The new Mac Minis are out, and they are M4 chips. And I've never owned a Mac personal computer, but they're very, very affordable. And I was like, you know what? Well, I say very, very affordable. It's like $600, but
right, it's affordable for a Mac.
Yeah, for a Mac. And I wanted something lower profile because prior to this, I was running everything through a single Razer laptop.
Yeah,
which I used primarily for like gaming and capture as well previously, but it was getting a bit much and the whole thing was a mess. Right now, I got a new desk from FlexiSpot. I paid money for this, obviously.
I'm using the FlexiSpot one too.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I wish I had bought a bigger one. This is still bigger than my previous desk, but I wish I had bought a bigger one. FlexiSpot, if you want to hook me up with a bigger desk, holler at your boy. I also made some catastrophic errors in like putting it together where like it stripped the screw. I hate when that happens. I didn't do anything weird. It just happens. So then I had to get like smaller or bigger screws to do it. I tried the old the toothpick in the hole trick where you put toothpicks in, break them off, put some glue in, and then like try and screw on top. Didn't work. But yeah, now and then I remounted my monitor. So now I have my monitor here, and then I've got one of those above monitors.
Yeah.
Stacked. So I've got right now I can look up and I can see you, Jeff, up there.
Yeah, that's why I got you on mine too. You're on the above monitor.
And then I've got one monitor on my right as well for like gaming. And then all of these monitors are also plugged into the gaming PC as well, which is also connected via Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and the PS5.
Good deal.
And let me tell you, it was a nightmare to get all that stuff together.
I bet it sounds like it.
The handshaking shit is so annoying. Yeah, and then I have Bloodborne running on my TV.
Yep, there it is. I tried to set it up so that the way I have it in my room here is there's the big TV over here with all the consoles, and then right next to this desk that has the PC, and so the PlayStation 5 is there. And I'm like, I'll get a splitter, and I'll have it like send a signal off to the TV and off to the computer, so I don't have to like swap it all the time. And it's like getting one of those that will like, okay, we'll send a signal into like the sound bar and then into the TV and then over to the computer. And then we'll also maintain all of the HDR and the, HDMI 2.1 and all that stuff. It was such a headache. And it still doesn't really work to this day. So, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll turn off HDR and I just won't use that for now until I figure out a fix for this. And that's,
I turn off HDR on most of the games I play. Because I look at it, I'm like, it doesn't look as nice. It doesn't look as vibrant. Like I like the vibrancy in games.
Yeah.
And HDR is like, we made it look more accurate. I'm like, I just want it to look good. I don't really care about accurate.
And your mileage is going to vary depending on the TV and then how well it's implemented into the game. So there's a lot of factors there, and it's I find myself turning it off, especially on PC at the very least, because it's just it's never good on PC. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with indie reviews. Indiana Jones reviews are out. It's got like a 87 on Metacritic. I think it bounces between that and 86, and it has an 86 on OpenCritic. Catherine Castle at Eurogamer gave it 5 stars, says it's smart, fun, and so very Indiana Jones. The Great Circle is a stealth action tour de force that marks a bold new era for machine games. Anthony Taramina at GameRant gave it an 8 out of 10 and said Indiana Jones and the Great Circle offers some of the best puzzle and tomb raiding in video games, matching Spielberg's films in many respects. And then Azario Lopez from Noizu Pixel gave it a 7, says Indiana Jones and the Great Circle captures the spirit of adventure with the nostalgic puzzles, richly detailed environments, and thrilling set pieces. While it stumbles with lackluster AI and clunky item management, its charm and sense of discovery make it a rewarding journey for fans of the iconic archaeologist. You've been playing this, right?
I have, yeah.
Me too.
I don't care about Indiana Jones one bit. Well, not one bit. I watched the movies, and
Sure.
I'm like, I watched Raiders. Obviously, Raiders is a real fun movie. And what was the other one? Temple of Doom. Enjoyed as well. Post Indiana Jones in his heyday, I haven't really watched. I watched the Shia LaBeouf one, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm out.
Yeah, you are not guilty of anything wrong there. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not like crazy about. I'm not into Indiana Jones the way white people are into Indiana Jones.
I
as well.
believe that. Yes.
Even still, I am pretty impressed with the way that they have recaptured the spirit of Indiana Jones. Whether even though it's not like John Williams scoring this, it's not like Spielberg and crew writing it. It is
not even Harrison Ford.
It's not even Harrison Ford talking in it. We got young Troy Baker there, and everyone's absolutely nailing it,
crushing it.
And yeah, the writing is amazing. I think it's fair to. I think like the writing in this game, I think based on the little bits of the other movies that I've seen, is probably better than most of that. It certainly has a more captivating villain.
Yes,
it's certainly, it's more. It feels more authentic to everything. And I know that right now everyone's kind of upset that the opening prologue section recreates, an iconic scene from an older movie, but.
They're upset? Really? That was fun.
I was like, I don't know, man. I feel like if you look at the people who made this game, they're clearly head over heels in love with this franchise.
Yep.
And they want to do right by it, and they know it, and they love it, and they care about it. And you give those people an opportunity to make an interactive first-person version of that first scene that people can play. You bet your ass they're taking it.
It's like, the tutorial, right? It's a good idea. It's all around. I like it. It was a good execution.
Yeah, and it's not like people. It's not like coming from a cynical place to me. It feels like the people who made this were like, oh, we really should want to do this just to say we did it and we can knock it out the park, and
like
we can like also
almost, yeah,
exactly, and we can also set the tone with this. And yeah, I've seen people on various social networks and that kind of stuff talking about, how lazy it was or whatever it may be. And I was just like, I grow up. I don't fucking care. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the game a lot. I think it's really well done. I think that in terms of nailing the vibe of Indiana Jones, they really do go over the top to get all of that right. When the John Williams score does come in, like his classic tunes, like obviously he's not scoring the game with new music, but they use his themes. When that stuff comes in and you're using the whip and you're running from explosions and giant machine guns firing at you, and then you run into a room and you punch a Nazi in the face and they make the big meaty sound, all that stuff is really fantastic. I think that the environments, like the scenes like themselves, the actual places that you're in, the setting, is like all that stuff also really works. It's not just like it's gonna be on a globe-trotting adventure. It's a globe-trotting adventure that tries to have like familiar like imagery, so it always feels like Indiana Jones. Like, yeah, you're back in the desert, so we're gonna have some stuff that looks like the stuff you've seen in Indiana Jones movies, and that doesn't feel gratuitous. It feels like the right move, because while this is a side story to what has happened in Indiana Jones elsewhere, this is the Indiana Jones video game, and you want it to feel like that, and they get all that stuff right. I think I think where I'm like, oh, I'm surprised so many people are really vibing with this, because I think the pacing is a little weird, where you can spend a very long time in these big, very open areas, walking back and forth, completing tasks, and there's
hang out in the Vatican.
So you're in the Vatican, and it's like they recreated the whole thing, and you're going to go in the Sistine Chapel a bunch of times, and there's people to talk to, and whenever you talk to a character that they rendered as like for one of these side quests, it's good. And they are interesting, and they have fun things to say. And then you'll go do their quests. And I don't think those quests are always super fascinating, but they're also not bad. It's just like at a certain point, when you're in hour 5 of being in the Vatican, it's like, okay, I'm getting a little sick of this. Now, to be fair, right around then is when it does end as well, and then you move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
it's just not as like whip cracking. Like, Indiana gets in a situation, he discovers something important, and as he's having this realization, the Nazis break through the wall right at that moment, and then he's off to the next place. That's how the movies go. The game has to stop and say, we took a long time building this. We're going to let you do some more archaeology and puzzles and stuff like that to kind of fill it in. And it's a fair trade, I think. It's just like, I think it does hurt the pacing.
Yeah, it's the side stuff in the stuff that can make you spend a lot of time in places like the Vatican are very much optional, and they're kind of designed so that you have this system called adventure points, where if you do indie shit by like, you pick up a letter that says, hey, meet me at this place at this time, I can show you the mysterious thing that I found, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go see what that's all about. You unlock some adventure points, which then you can use later on to, when you find these books, to kind of spend on upgrading your abilities. It's not a skill tree. It's like India will read a book and be like, oh, so this is how I punch harder.
Yeah, and once you read it, you can then spend those points.
And,
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so that part of it is kind of to your discretion. But the thing that I was very surprised by is, one, the game doesn't fall into that typical video game adaptation trap where they take a franchise and then they always filter it through the exact same what are video games filter or lens, where suddenly it takes whatever game it is and turns it into an action game.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, here we have Shawshank Redemption, the video game. Everyone's shooting and punching each other. Oh, here's 12 Angry Men, the video game. Everyone's shooting and punching each other. Oh, here's, There Will Be Blood. Everyone's shooting, punching, and attacking aliens. And it's like, why did you do this? They clearly went and looked at it, and it was like, what can we make? How can we turn Indiana Jones into a video game? And what they did was they found a really nice middle ground and used some kind of like design elements that they're very familiar with or have access to expertise on. And that is, exploration, stealth, and some immersive sim elements as well, which, I mean, Machine Games isn't known for their immersive simness, but they are stablemates with Arcane. And obviously, what was the name of that co-op Wolfenstein game again?
Youngblood, I think.
Youngbloods.
New
New Bloods or whatever.
I mean, this
it
is
may
also
be.
the team that goes back to the Chronicles of Riddick, the
Chronicles of Riddick,
Bay, and it's like you see a lot of the DNA
and
of that in this.
Really feels like that, and I wasn't expecting that at all.
Right.
Outside of like the tutorial where they teach you how to punch and parry, I haven't got into any combat, and that's by design. You can choose to get into combat.
Yeah, you can do more
I feel
if
like if you try and like go combat as the main form of like your interaction with enemies, I think it could get stale after a little while.
Yeah,
they don't make Indiana Jones like capable of like much.
He's not superhuman. He is a guy.
He's just a man. He can like punch, block, and that's about it. And maybe you can use your whip to drag people or disarm people. That's fine. And it's fun when you do it. But I think we say this, our review was written by Richard Wakeling, and he says it in a review as well. It's more fun if you do it every now and then.
Right.
Because then you can have that moment where you're like, haha, you got indie. and then you can just carry on with your business. But for the most part, I've just been like skulking around, and I've been like keeping an eye. And they do really nice things with like, taking the time to create and fully flesh out all these environments, like the Vatican. Like, I've not been to the Vatican. Have I been to the Vatican? I've been to the Vatican. Shit.
You were just so high you couldn't remember,
yeah.
right?
I don't remember much about the Vatican after going there. I think the Pope was real mad at me for spray painting on the side of a wall. But I've been like looking around, and it's really nice. And like just absorbing the environment, which is really cool. And the pace of it is something that I'm really enjoying. Having come off like a bunch of like faster paced games recently, just taking my time, walking around, doing Indiana Jones stuff, like finding little mysteries, pulling a lever. Wow, a secret door. What's that down there? I'm gonna light this brazier. That kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. I did not expect to be and I know a few hardcore Indiana Jones fans. Like one of the guys who used to work in the UK team, Adam Mason, he's got a phone cover that he has very hastily used like Redbubble to print out and did not pay attention to the actual dimensions.
Hell yeah.
So he has a phone case that reads Indian Joan on it. And he is the big fan of Indiana Jones, obviously. And I wish I could just be in the room and watch him play this game like some sort of weird video game experience cuck. And like I am sure that anyone who loves Indiana Jones is going to have a wonderful time with this game. Yep. Shout out to Machine Games, man. Like it's also like a really interesting, really cool, and really exciting example of that team diversifying a little bit of what they do. I'm sure people were. I was one of the people who was upset where I was like, "Can you just make them make a Wolfenstein again, please? They're just definitely so good at that." But they put this game out, and I was like, fair play. I was not proven wrong. I didn't expect it would be bad, but I was like, I'll take that. That was so far an excellent job.
Yep, yeah. They really did a very good job, and it's I think it sets them up to make more of these. I expect them to hop right back in and make a couple more Indiana Jones games, at least one more after this as a follow up. I'll just like
let's not do too many of those though, please.
No, I expect them to do at least one more though. So
you know what they should do? They should do one more, and it should be young Indiana Jones.
That would be very cool to see.
And then they kill him off.
Yeah, right. And that's the indie fails timeline going forward. Yeah. Last couple of things. I think that like you said, the villain's very good. It is very good. It's like if you liked the villain characters and hating them in Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, you will see a lot of that here. It works very well here as well.
The way you pronounce the name of that game there has also created the opportunity to make another game. Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein.
A Wolfenstein game where you play as a dog? Come on.
Wolfenstein? Wolfenstein. Yeah, it's the D-Make where
Come on.
Rough.
Machine Games, drop everything. You need to make Wolfenstein.
And then I think the one of the small disappointments for the game for me is Indiana Jones as a fan. The whole idea from the beginning was Lucas was saying to Spielberg, well, you want to make a James Bond movie? I got something better. Let's do this. There's this guy, Indiana, and he chases after MacGuffins that are actually really magic. They're really a thing that is interesting in their own, unlike most MacGuffins in movies, which are, for people who don't, like most people are going to know what a MacGuffin is, but MacGuffin's just a thing a character chases in a movie. It gives them a reason to move the plot forward. But in Indiana Jones, they were always supposed to be like, no, it really is the Ark of the Covenant, and it is going to be a thing at the end of the movie that is going to change things. The Great Circle, I'm like struggling to. It's just not like one thing, right? It's not like the Cup of Christ.
The Great Circle is the friends you made along the way.
It really is like you really have to just kind of accept that because it itself is not super interesting so far. But yeah, whatever.
Have you heard the story? Have you heard the story behind like the franchise where Steven Spielberg and George Lucas met in an elevator? And like quickly pitched him on it, and that's how we got Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. You proud of yourself?
Yes, I am. Every motherfucking Kingdom Hearts fan is dying to tell you that little bit of tidbit. Every single, it's the Viggo Mortensen kick the helmet
right,
of
yes.
Kingdom Hearts people.
Yep, Lucas did break his toe in that elevator as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna keep playing Indiana. I'm like 12, 13 hours in. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing.
It's not super long as well. It's like 20 hours you can finish in.
Yeah, are there like 3 big areas then, or is it like 4 big areas?
I don't know. I'm not all the way through it. But you can add more time to it, obviously, if you do everything on the side.
Yes.
And yeah, but I think it's fairly breezy. Our reviewer was like, yeah, it didn't take that long at all. I mean, it was like 20 plus hours, but
it's also very easy to adjust difficulties for every little thing. Like you can do it across the board, but then each thing has like a bunch of different settings underneath that. So if you want the combat to like be like, hey, I want them to take more damage when I shoot them, but I still want to be pretty vulnerable myself, you could set it that way. So pretty cool. All right, let's move along here. Reuters says Ubisoft shareholders are in talks over possible buyout terms. This is from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Ubisoft shareholders are considering how to structure a possible buyout. 2 people familiar with the matter told Reuters. The Guillemot family, which is the largest and founding shareholder of Ubisoft, has reportedly been in talks with Tencent, which owns a 10% stake in the company. And and other shareholders in recent weeks about funding a management-led buyout. People said that the Guillemot family would likely retain control over the company, but Tencent has not decided whether it will participate in a buyout and increase its stake in the company. Tencent is said to have asked for a greater say on future board decisions in return, which the Guillemot family has not agreed to. Discussions are reportedly ongoing as Tencent would like to prevent a hostile takeover of Ubisoft by other investors. One person said Tencent's plan is to remain patient and wait for the Guillemot family to agree to a deal, which seems like it might be the right strategy if you're Tencent, right? Because the Guillemot family, Ubisoft, they're only going to feel more pressure going forward, especially Assassin's Creed Shadows. If that doesn't work out, like this company is going to be in dire straits and will be a target for a hostile takeover at that point because the stock price will dip even further, and it has dipped quite a bit recently. I don't necessarily know what the fallout from all this would be. This is a company that needs new leadership, I feel like. So them trying to find a way to struggle to keep the Guillemot family in charge, I don't think this is going to solve anything long term for Ubisoft and the people that work at that company. What do you think, Tam?
I mean, yeah, not. I feel like the state that Ubisoft currently in is very much the chickens coming home to roost. Yes. It's become very reliant on a singular franchise, I think. And it's also become very reliant on a specific type of gameplay model and design template in a lot of ways. They had a period of time where they were being very experimental, and that paid off to different regards. But I feel like it's very risk averse now. And you can tell, for me, as someone on the outside looking in, the impact of that is quite noticeable and severe, where a game like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is probably my favorite Ubisoft game that's been made in quite a long time.
Same.
And the way that team was treated, like disbanded, instead of being told, hey, you guys nailed it, you folks nailed it, knocked out of the park, what do you want to do next? How can we support you? They've been turned into, I don't know what the rumor is, like Rayman team or whatever it may be. It's just like, I aside, if they bring back Rayman, they're doing the stupidest thing. No one gives a shit about Rayman, okay? Those games were cool, but like,
I like Rayman. I don't know. I'm not pining for it. You're right.
I feel like you could take those original games, remove Rayman from there, and put some Amorphous Blob back in, and the games are still bangers.
I do love Amorphous Blobs.
Yeah, Amorphous Blobs are pretty good character development on them. But I would prefer if they took all that ingenuity and put it in like Prince of Persia or some new thing. I just don't feel like that's the smart move there.
I mean, it's definitely like not going to be the key to their success going forward,
not at
right?
All.
Yeah,
not at all. But yeah, I feel like the problem we have is in the upper echelons, they have very like ingrained, entrenched, archaic thinking, and the people that are at the wheel are the reason that is still there. They have built a company on the success of one major franchise, and then basically, oriented everything around that franchise. And that franchise is kind of waning. Like, people aren't as into it anymore as they used to be. I mean, like, Assassin's Creed is always going to have some level of perennial popularity, but it's no longer the industry, the cultural touchstone that it once was in the Ezio days. And even as like post Ezio, I think that franchise has got by being there at the start of generations, and also by drastically evolving what it is. I feel like evolving into an open world Witcher style thing gave it a new lease on life, but that lease on life has got a very short half-life.
Yeah.
And we're quickly realizing that, they're just kind of extending the life of that by doing just barely changing things or hoping for the best. And like, the last effort to try and evolve the experience of Assassin's Creed was, we've created this hub where you can live an Assassin's Creed life, and it will link to other Assassin's Creed titles.
And
it's like
manifested in any real way, it's not yet.
Yeah, and I can tell you, no one gives a shit about that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's very few people on this planet that are like that into Assassin's Creed, that are like, oh boy, I can't wait to have a glorified Assassin's Creed launcher. I love Assassin's Creed. I'm very excited for Shadow. I loved Assassin's Creed. Now I'm all like, yeah, I'll take it game by game. That's not the one, man. Like, and I feel like the problem they have is they're unwilling to change anything, because the biggest successes that they've had have been by placing Assassin's Creed front and center. And when you have shareholders who are like, more money, graph go up, and you have no other like verifiable, provable, evidential avenue that has shown you that you can make a lot of money in a different way,
there's no way
your result is rely on Assassin's Creed or chase trends. And that's exactly what they've done on both counts. And while the Assassin's Creed train can keep rolling a little bit longer, the chasing trends is clearly falling apart. People are losing their jobs. X-Defiant is being closing down. Even the stuff like Star Wars has been kind of like, came and went.
Yep.
And I feel like that company needs a complete overhaul. I don't like Tencent taking over anything. But there is some real questions need to be, like, Guillermo needs to be taken into a room and been like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yep. I think
what's going on?
Yeah. I think
where is Splinter Cell?
Right. That is actually the thing that would solve everything.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, X-Defiant's closing down. They said they're still committed to live service games. It's like, they're going to just keep doing the things they've been doing because they have the same leadership. So we shouldn't expect anything different from them. And this whole deal is going to maintain that status quo, even if it changes. It's not a publicly traded company. It's privately owned, but the Guillermo family still owns the majority with Tencent right next to them.
I think it's really impressive.
This company.
I think it's really impressive that they can commit to live service despite repeatedly failing at live service games. And I think that's a real good example, or like real good evidence of how much brain rot, trend chasing, and the live service, like the pot of gold that is forever at the bottom of that rainbow is. They've had one good live service success, and that's not Assassin's Creed, that's Rainbow Six Siege.
Yep.
Other than that, they put out crap after crap that hasn't worked. Even their best live service games hasn't performed in the way that they probably want. Something like The Division, which is, I mean, like, they were good games, but were they popping off in the way that they thought they would as a live service game? No, they're not. But yet they keep going for it, which is like, why are you doing this, man? Like, I know Yves can sit there and like whoever else is on the executive can sit there and keep making that decision, keep pressing the same button with very little change to their daily life. But people are suffering. Like, people are going down, and like, you can keep trying to put out whatever these side projects are, like X-Defiant, and they probably won't work. Like, the closest you're getting is For Honor, and that was like not a major success either. So
did all right.
I don't know. Something needs to change.
Yep. And this does not seem like it's going to lead to that change. So they're going to let the Guillermo family sweat it out. Maybe that changes the calculus at some point for that family, and they are willing to give up control. But so far, that doesn't seem like an option. And then on the other side, who's waiting for them? It's Tencent. So Tencent is I don't think they're going to come in there and
10
invest.
cents, once 10%.
And there it is. They already have 10%. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the rest of the news, including some people teasing some big stuff for the Game Awards. We'll talk about that right after this. All right, Tam. Andy over at the Video Games Chronicle is trying to get people hyped up for the Game Awards. This comes from My Nintendo News.
What's he saying? I've been on the other end of Andy hype many years
yes,
as his colleague.
Right, exactly. So I'll have you judge
He's
this.
usually right, honestly.
Oh yes, he's good at it. Turns out there's a lot of stuff happening. People whisper a lot more in Europe, it turns out. Next week is the biggest gaming awards ceremony of the year, the Game Awards, and each year people have reasonably high expectations for the annual event and are generally left feeling somewhat disappointed. It seems as though that may not be the case for this year's event, though. Andy Robinson at VGC has been stoking the fire on X, saying that he is expecting a very big Game Awards next week. Fire up the hype train. That's a quote from Andy Robinson. Whether this turns out to be...
he just says that all the time.
Yeah.
I worked with Andy for 5+ years. And on Friday, we'd go and get chicken pasties. He'd get pasties. And before we'd go, every time he'd be like, fire up the hype train.
Yeah.
We're going to get chicken pasties.
I saw him at Summer Game Fest, and then he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go fire up the hype train. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Anything.
Yeah.
He ordered a coffee one time, and then he was like, hold on. He was like, can I have an oat milk latte? And then the barista was like, all right, cool. And then he went, can I have a vanilla? Fire up the hype train. And I was like, why did you do that? You don't have to do that.
I saw him sitting alone crying. I asked, what's wrong? He says, I fired up the hype train. I
fired it up too early.
Is this a good or a bad thing, Andy? I can't tell anymore. So anyway, he said that. Tom Warren from The Verge was like, I agree. He retweeted it and said, I also think this is going to be a big one. So I'm not we've been busy getting ready for shit. So I've not been out there trying to hit the streets, trying to find out what's going on. I have no idea. I'm getting pretty excited.
I would say it's going to be a good Game Awards.
Yes.
I would say telling people it's going to be a good Game Awards is how you make it not a good Game Awards.
The best way to make sure people don't.
That is
meet their expectations.
if you are in a privileged position like we are, where you hear things and people tell you this is going to be there, the smartest thing to do is tell no one. Don't even act like you know anything. Don't potentially be like, hey guys, it's going to be cool. Trust me. Never say that, because you say this is going to be pretty cool, and on the other side, Bloodborne 2 has been fully specced out by a forum post, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, this has happened to me before, where I'm like, hey, the people that I'm talking to say this PlayStation State of Play is going to be pretty good, and then people disagree with the final result of that, and they get very mad at me. I'm like, listen, man, other people said it. I'm just prepared, and it's like, you know what? I shouldn't have said anything. You're right.
The issue that we have is when people say it, who have some understanding or have some awareness around what's going to be there.
Perspective.
Yeah, they say it relative to maybe the last one, or maybe an understanding of what people expect currently versus what they see could come. When people who see that outside, who don't have that knowledge, they are comparing it to the best Game Awards moment of all time.
This is the confirmation that the thing they've been pining for is about to happen, you said, Bloodborne 2. Yes.
Right now, the only thing that people can see is something better than Elden Ring, because that's one of the high points of Game Awards, right? And setting itself up for failure there, man.
Yep.
That is. But Andy's right. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be worth watching for sure.
That's all I'm saying. It's going to be cool.
Yep.
Because we're going to have a show there as well.
Yeah, of course.
Countdown to the Game Awards.
So it's going to be the coolest Game Awards.
Yeah. It's going to be the coolest. Yeah. So you can watch us live being goofs.
I think if I'm trying to think what could be very big, and it's
Bloodborne 2, obviously.
Of course, without a doubt.
What if Yves Guillemot came on and sold Ubisoft to Jeff Keighley live on stage?
Yeah, that'd be very good.
A live auction's pretty great. That would be great.
Sold to Snoop Dogg, and Snoop's like, what
sold to that guy wearing, is that a Beyond Good and Evil 1 t-shirt? Yeah, you can have it.
I don't know. Part of me's I'm doing the thing. Wait, could Switch 2 really appear here? Is that possible? Maybe some surprising new Xbox thing. I mean, Tom Warren is someone who covers a lot of Microsoft. Maybe that's so I'm trying to connect the dots already. And Tam, you know what I'm doing? Set myself up for disappointment.
Set yourself. Yeah. There will be some things that people, I don't think.
Oh, for sure.
Expect it. It's going to be enjoyable. I think the runtime 2-ish hours is going to breeze by. And more than anything, we'll get to hopefully hear the Game Awards Orchestra do the Metaphor battle theme.
I think that is very likely.
Yeah. Cannot wait for that. I just want to see that guy popping off if he's there.
Flute guy just going wild with.
What if they replace the vocal guy with flute guy? Yeah. It's just a flute version of that.
Exactly. They should definitely do that, or just like he accompanies the vocal guy. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Game Awards next Thursday. We will have the pre-show. What time does that start on December 12th?
I believe our one starts at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Pacific time, everybody. So.
Yes, and then we're going to have a live stage. Me and Lucy are going to be hosting.
Yep.
We're going to have guests coming through. Bunch of developers from games that came out this year. Bunch of nominees. We're going to kick it over to Jeff Grubb, who's going to be doing like interviews out on the floor, and then Dan is going to be knocking about as well, doing man and street stuff. Everyone's going to be there, Smash Brothers style. And it will go straight into the official pre-show for the Game Awards. We're working with Jeff to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. We're going to be physically in LA outside of the hall, so you'll see some of what's going on out and about as well. And it'll be fun, yeah.
If you're attending the show, the segments I'm doing might occasionally need someone to like come in there with like an interview and you ask you about your favorite games of the year. So I don't know if you see me or Jan or Sean. Grab our attention if we're not.
And to be clear,
not live.
we have security, and we have told them to be as aggro as possible.
Oh, you're gonna
try
get
some shit. You will get your ass clapped.
Oh, you're going even if you don't try shit. If you just look at me,
God.
If you try to make eye contact with me,
I hope you try.
Me too. We paid a lot of money for the security.
See what they do. Yeah, I want that security to do some work.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want them to just sit around and get paid. I want to see a fight.
Yeah.
Anyway. Holler at us if you see us. All right. Agent 47 turns his sights onto Jean-Claude Van Damme as Hitman's next elusive target. This is from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. IO Interactive hit a bit of an unexpected bump in the road with its newly launched celebrity-inspired elusive target missions, as the first to arrive centered around Conor McGregor, who only a couple of months later was charged for rape at a court in Ireland, leading to the Danish developer scrubbing all signs of the disruptor from the game. I'm going to just go and say he lost a civil suit, basically the equivalent of a civil suit in Ireland. So I don't know if like charge for rape is exactly accurate, but it was sexual assault, and he lost the case. And it's so I'm going to throw in a legend in there just to cover our ass a little bit.
Not entirely related, but I think at some point someone's going to go back and do a study on what Khabib did to this man, because since that fight, he's just been fucking destroyed. That man punched him so hard that he ruined his entire life, which is very funny to me.
Yep. Either way, they got rid of him, and now they're like, okay, well, we'll follow that up with a second attempt with JCVD. JCVD will play Max the Splitter Valiant, an ex-ICA operative who, after being thought dead for years, makes a grand reappearance, where it is also discovered that he has been working for rival organizations, causing Agent 47 to have to remove him for his traitorous ways.
Is that a reference to a movie, or is it just a reference to the fact that he can do the splits really well?
I think probably just that he can do the splits really well. I don't know. I like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, a handful of them. Bloodsport is incredible. I'll watch that whenever I see it.
I think you're forgetting the number one Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter the movie, absolutely. Yes. Yep. There's a couple other ones that are fun that he's done. That like quasi biopic movie he did called JCVD. That's
JCVD. Yeah.
That's actually really good. So anyway, I have a fondness for Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I have a real fondness for Hitman. So sure, let's put these together and I'll have a good time. I think this is fun. I hope they are able to do more. I think this is the right level of celebrity to have as an assassination target in Hitman.
He was an expendable, right? He was one of them.
Yeah, he was a villain in Expendables 2. I think. I don't think I ever saw Expendables 3 because those movies aren't very good. I was always disappointed by them.
No.
Marvel Rivals. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how excited are you for the imminent release of Demolition Man on 4K Blu-ray?
I'm hesitant because I feel like every time we get one of these 4K Blu-rays, they mess it up. Oh. Sorry, I was about to sneeze so bad, and my face wanted to like jump out of my skull.
I assume you've seen Demolition Man, right?
Oh, I've seen Demolition Man a lot. I gotta say, I love Demolition Man. I walk around being like, am I the person who likes Demolition Man the most? And then I met you, and I was like, okay, no, this is what a real fan looks like. But I'm glad they're out there, and I appreciate this film a lot. I love Demolition Man.
I'm so excited. It's the thing I'm looking forward to most. And like, we have like holidays coming up, you know, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to sit my ass down and watch that movie over and over again.
What the hell?
Cannot wait.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Make a Demolition Man game. Let me help you make a Demolition Man game. Okay? Let me help you make a Demolition Man game.
Honestly, Demolition Man game made in the same way that the Indiana Jones game was made, it wouldn't be too bad.
I feel like you get the team behind Mercenaries.
Are they still about? That'd be fun too, yeah.
Because like the whole point is like, you know, they keep destroying shit. Yep. But imagine if you had like a series of, because when you start the movie, John Spartan and Simon Phoenix have skirmished a bunch of times.
Yes.
Like imagine if you had this game prior to it where you get to go through all those skirmishes with like those run-ins and how he got his name. And it ends with him like standing over a destroyed city and someone goes, man, you are some kind of demolition man.
Shit, dude.
Come on, then you press the button and he goes,
Kickstarter it. Here's some money. I'm going to give you $20 when I see you.
Hell yeah.
All right. Marvel Rivals debuts to 444,000 players on Steam alone. Those are concurrent players, by the way. Yeah, this is from Bin Lines at Game Reactor, but that's basically the story. The game came out. A lot of people played it right away. It is, it's free to play. It's that Overwatch style Marvel Rivals game. People seem to like it. I played the beta and remember enjoying it a lot, thinking, hey, this is a really well done one of these. And while I might not, I'm not in the place in my life where I'm like, each evening I'm spending an hour or two playing a game like this by myself. When this is the one where it's like, hey, when the dudes in the Discord say, hey, let's play a game. Right now it's been Call of Duty. I could see it very easily switching to Marvel Rivals for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm going to download. It's free, right?
It's free. Yep. Okay. And I think all the heroes are just unlocked. So it's, one of
Marvel those. Chat. Is Gambit in it?
There's so many characters in it. There's like 35 characters already. I would be surprised if Gambit was. Okay, Gambit's not. Never mind.
Oh, damn.
But Jeff is in there.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff the Shark, I guess. It was very, I was watching the Lions game last night after the podcast I did with Mike, and then Nikki and Mike's brothers were all in there, and they kept talking like, Jeff is doing this, Jeff has that. I'm like, do they think I'm playing? And then it's like, oh no, I'm watching the game, and they're talking about a shark in the game called Jeff. It was confusing.
I just think Gambit is very cool because he throws cards.
I like Gambit. Yeah, man. How good was X-Men '97 though? Man.
Oh, it was. I also watched Deadpool versus whatever the thing is, the Deadpool Wolverine with Gambit in it. I really enjoyed everything that wasn't Deadpool in that movie. Gambit was based on seeing the one clip of what's his name going?
Channing Tatum.
That. I was like, wow, that seems terrible. But actually, he's pretty good. Like, outside of that one clip, and even with that one clip,
he's going for it with that one clip. Yes.
Yeah, and you don't see like the lead up to it. I really like Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Channing Tatum apparently is like from around that area, so that like Gambit was like his favorite X-Men, and so he always wanted to play Gambit. And it's like it was such a fun
movie. Yeah, and like. Spoilers for that movie, I don't really care, but I watched it on a plane and there was no one next to me, unfortunately, but fortunately. So I got an entire aisle to myself, but the bit where Blade showed up and I was like, and no one was there. That was a bit awkward for me.
You hit the stewardess button, like, come here. And then she comes over and I gotta tell you. Yeah, incredible.
Look at this. Also, can I get a water? Thank you.
Square Enix announces that Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake has surpassed 2 million copies from My Nintendo News. This game seems like it's cooking. It is just running away. Obviously, I think a huge part of that 2 million is going to be a lot of Dragon Quest fans in Japan showing up for it because they always do love this franchise.
Yeah.
But 2 million, like in this quickly, the game just came out. you kind of just don't do that unless this is a game that has just caught the
No.
attention. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
a new Persona game comes out and does that.
I mean, like
the same
Dragon
amount of
Quest
time.
is Japan's baseball. Like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
the national
Well,
sport of the
now it's
of-
baseball, but yeah, it's also Dragon Quest. So yeah.
Yeah, and baseball is Japan's baseball. but like in the ubiquity of like awareness and interest in Dragon Quest, everyone loves it. So I'm completely for as long as I've been alive and paying attention to how games are performing.
Yes.
Dragon Quest has always absolutely popped off in Japan. I think it's just like, I mean, it's like Dragon Ball Z, where it's just like, it's just there, man. Or like even Studio Ghibli stuff. It is woven into the fabric of Japanese culture at this point.
Yep.
You go into like stores and the entry jingles are Dragon Quest like noises and sound effects from there. You'll see just slimes everywhere. You'll see references to Dragon Quest in like everything from like an office to a convenience store to the underground or like the subway system. It's everywhere, man.
Do you know who was the first person to release an RPG video game in Japan? I learned this from playing a game recently. It's not
first person.
Yeah,
person or company.
First person. Because before any company released an RPG, it was Hank Rogers.
Was it Dennis Dyack? Oh, okay.
Hank, who was the guy that worked with Alexei Pajitnov on Tetris, the guy that actually ended up. He was like living in Japan.
Hank Rogers.
Yeah, Hank Rogers. He released an RPG called, I can't remember what it was called, but it's.
You're telling me the father of the JRPG is an American?
Yeah, I think he's. God, where is he from? I don't think he's from. Is he from Hawaii?
He's
maybe?
Dutch, isn't he? He's Dutch.
He's definitely like ethnically part Dutch. Yes, absolutely.
Damn, do we have to call them DRPGs now?
Yes, they're Dutch RPGs. Black Onyx. Thank you so much. This is in that Tetris Forever thing, which is still incredible. There's so many cool things in there. But yeah, the Black Onyx came out, and then Wizardry came out, and a ton of early game developers played Wizardry specifically, and that inspired stuff like Dragon Quest and all those others. But yeah, Black Onyx was the first. Ultima as well. Thank you, Parada. Yes. All right. Turn-based strategy game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown announced for PC. This is from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Shout out to Sal for all the work.
Isn't there literally a TMNT game on its way now?
There's always a TMNT game on its way now. You're right. Yes.
That's what. No, wait, no. Is it? No, Power Rangers is next, right?
Oh, if you're thinking, yes, they're Power Rangers, and there's a bunch of other games similar to that.
Oh,
that
there's
the
there's the other one that's coming, which is like
there's Toxic Avengers. There's all kinds
Ronin,
of stuff.
The Last Ronin, or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, but that's gonna be like a AAA-ish kind of game, right?
Yeah,
maybe not. Anyway, this is from Zalavir Nelson. I can never remember how to say his first name, and I always feel bad. I think it's Zalavir.
Yeah, Zalavir.
Okay, yeah. Zalavir Nelson Jr.
I mean, I've called him Zalavir to his face, so if I'm wrong, I'm going to be very upset.
I think I remember someone correcting me saying it was Zalavir once. So, yes, he El Paso Elsewhere and I Am Your Beast developer Strange Scaffold has announced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, the first ever turn-based Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. It's a tactics game, strategy game, turn-based. It looks interesting. It looks pretty cool, and you could tell Zalavir's very excited. He did a video about it, and
Zalavir makes
very cool.
good games.
Yeah.
I mean, like people at the very least, Zalavir makes interesting games.
Yeah.
Some people like some of his games. Some people like other games. Don't like that kind of stuff. It's very eclectic and very prolific. Him and his team. So I'm excited to see what this is, and I very, very much like the idea of a TMNT tactics game.
Me too.
Is there a Power Rangers tactics game? Because that sounds pretty fucking good. I'd like one of those as well.
I really do feel like they should just have a big hat filled with different properties, and then they just, when they take it out, you put it next to the word tactics, and then there you go. That's the next one, and they should just keep doing that forever because it's always a good idea. I think 100%. We know that for sure now after Metal Slug Tactics worked. It's like,
we talked about the Kingdom Hearts tidbit that everyone wants to tell you, and the Viggo Mortensen one. Do you know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tidbit that every TMNT fan has locked and loaded?
No, I'm a fake TMNT fan. Tell me.
The TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created by the same substance that blinded Matt Murdock and turned him into Daredevil.
Is that real?
So after that accident, the acid goes into the sewers, and lands on the turtles.
That rules.
And so they exist in the technically they are Daredevil characters.
I do love that kind of shit. Like that. If a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, if I every time I met a TMNT fan going forward, they told me that, I'd be like, let's talk about it, dude. This rules.
Yep. Yeah, I would. Salavi, if you're listening, get a Daredevil reference in there.
Yeah.
Make someone accidentally call one of the Foot Clan the Hand Clan or something like that, and you'll do the job.
All right, last story here. PUBG creator reveals his ambitious new 3-game plan, which starts with Prologue. This is from Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Nearly 5 years after teasing his next project, PUBG Battlegrounds creator Brendan Player Unknown Green, PUBG himself, or Pew himself, I guess, and his Player Unknown Productions team have revealed new details on their ambitious 3-game plan. That starts today with the surprise release of Preface, I'm going to say Preface, Undiscovered World, a free tech demo that dynamically generates a massive Earth-scale world for players to explore. Preface promises just a taste of PlayerUnknown's Productions machine learning game technology known as Melba. The tech demo lets players journey through a 200 million square mile world with dynamic points of interest to visit and a postcard system to document players' journeys. Players' time in Preface will inform the developer's next project, Prologue, Go Way Back. That's the subtitle. Gameplay data from Preface will help refine the billions of future worlds of Prologue, the developer says, and the studio's end goal project after that. So, sounds like, they're using procedural generation and machine learning to make giant worlds for people to explore. That's like the big ambitious part of all this. And they're going to have one game that starts with that technology, and then they're going to learn from that and apply that to the even bigger game that will be happening next time. I think this is a great spot for someone like the people that made PlayerUnknown's Battleground to be, where it's like, okay, yeah, you made a lot of money, you have a lot of time, go try something experimental. If it's interesting, great. If it fizzles out, oh well. Yeah, that's how I feel about this. How about you?
Yeah, I feel like he shouldn't be able to call himself PlayerUnknown now.
Yeah, he seems very known, and also he's not the player. He's the maker. He's the developer known.
Yeah, developer known. Yeah.
DK.
I mean, I think this sounds good to me. Like, I think it's what you ideally want people to do, right? Like, once they make a big success, they're like, okay, what can we make next that's cool? Let's experiment a little bit and see what we can put together and go from there. So that is, I'd love to see it. I interviewed PlayerUnknown one time, and it was an absolute delight. He's very chill and very nice, and we spent a lot of time talking about vaping for some reason. He seems like he cares about making fun games. This was a long time ago, so maybe he turned into, maybe he went the notch path while I wasn't looking, but he seems fine.
He seems fine.
Yeah, and like at the time he was very jazzed about making video games and said he had like a bunch of ideas that he wanted to work on, and I'm glad that he's finally taking the opportunity to do that,
Although in this video that he's in here now, he's got a big beard.
He's got a big old beard now.
You know who he looks? That's Tom Green. He's becoming very Tom Green. Is that a reference that's too old that now people know who Tom Green is?
I don't know who Tom Green is.
He was, don't worry about it. It's impossible to explain.
Green.
Yeah, Google it.
Canadian American comedian.
Yes. He did Freddy Got Fingered. My bum is on the Swedish. Okay, don't worry about it.
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, Mr. Drew Barrymore is what he looks like.
Now you're talking, Mr. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, Mr. Drew Barrymore.
You mean the guy from the Tom Green Show?
Oh, fuck you, Tam. You know what? That does it for the news. I got a poll question. Let's get that up here. I'll get that for everybody. Let's take a look. And then I'm going to quit this show. All right.
You've been trying to quiet quit all week.
Yeah, I've been trying to quiet quit all week. You're right. Okay.
You figure out what's going here while I show the gang my newly acquired Evangelion lighting system. Look at this. This is crazy.
That is very cool.
It's wild. Look at that.
It's very cool. All right.
So nice.
Poll question from yesterday: do you own some kind of home arcade machine, like an arcade one-up, Evercade, etc.? 9% of people do. 1 in 10 people, basically.
I got that Street Fighter one.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Mike actually ended up getting that Mega Man one after you told him about it. So,
does he like it?
He likes it a lot. He said, it's mostly just he mostly likes it as a decoration, just having it in the background of his streams. But
all right, fucking money bags.
I know, right? God, arcade machines as decorations, Jesus. But yeah, it looked very cool. Either way, I'm like, yeah, this seems like a space that is going to continue to get more interesting. I think, and Evercade is actually leading that a little bit, just because it has the.
You know what I've started doing? A little activity for myself. I've been watching a lot of retro game core videos.
Oh yeah.
And every time they he reviews a new product, I review it, and then I write down on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely is Jeff Grubb to buy this.
Oh shit.
And then I just wait for you to see whether you bought it or not.
I bought the brick.
There's that new $600 one that I was like, he's buying this.
We'll see. I just went to Disney, so I have no money in my. But that didn't stop me from. I watched one of his videos, one of his recent ones, the Tamuri or Trimuri brick.
Yeah.
I bought that right away. Right,
while I was watching Russ over there.
Oh yeah,
incredible work.
Really,
every time he says, "Yeah, man, I want to do it," I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got a new poll question here in a second. Before we get to that, though, Tam, why don't you tell people where they could find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff.
You can find me at Tamoor H. Now that my desk setup has changed, I'm going to be coming back to streaming soon, hopefully. And also, now that I have a visa that allows me to earn money from various different forms of work, I'm back, baby. I'm going to finally get back on the streaming train. I've been trying to figure out what I should start streaming. I feel like I should do the stretch, get limber by just streaming the one that I have always streamed, which is Sekiro, but I might try something new. So hopefully we'll be doing that soon. I've got a bunch of really nice art that I commissioned Jerem to make for me.
Yep.
And it's amazing. I'm very excited to use it. So twitch.tv/TamoorH, follow there. I'm on Blue Sky, TamoorH.com. It's crazy that my handle is TamoorH.com. And I'm also on Threads, etc., etc. What do we have going on? We're going to be everything's been focused on Game Awards. The GameSpot's countdown to the Game Awards show has been the main priority for us. I'm very excited to get that done. So we'll be heading to LA next week to start doing rehearsals and stuff like that. So please watch that if you can. Beyond that, we have. Are we doing Revengeance today?
No, we were going to, and we're going to talk about indie, but the timing didn't work out because Dan is busy up until we're going to do Blight Club, and now
is today.
Jan is being toxic in our chat about playing Marvel Rivals.
Is it still Lucy's Blight Club?
Yeah, she's got one. She has likely one episode left.
So is it me next? Am I getting Blight Club next?
I would love that, actually, because if Dan doesn't start, because Alex Navarro gave him 2 games at PAX East, remember, almost a year ago now, and Dan hasn't started those yet. So on the last podcast, the Never Been About a Better podcast that Nextliner does, Alex says if he doesn't start it by the second week of January, there will be consequences. And Alex is he's the all-powerful god in Blight Club.
Yes,
everything he says goes.
He is, yeah.
So Dan's really worried if he doesn't start.
If you want to quietly arrange me to go next and get him to get the Wrath of Alex, I'm down for that.
Okay.
Or I could just go after him.
Okay. All right. Next poll question: are you going to play Indiana Jones in the Great Circle? Yes. No. You can see right there. There's the poll. It's live right now. Go vote on it. God, I will. Yeah, there will be an episode on Monday of Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb because I'm leaving Tuesday. So
nice.
We will talk about this on Monday. Then, in addition to we'll figure out exactly what's happening today. But Blight Club will happen. Maybe we'll fit some Marvel Rivals in. I want to play that. So if Jan wants to, I'll throw down. I'll get out my the lady with the sword. I played as her and did very good in the beta. I'll play as her again. All right.
Lady with sword.
I can't remember her name. There's 35 characters.
Psylocke.
It wasn't Psylocke. I would remember because I was like, that's an X-Man. Maybe this character's an X-Man too. I don't know. Magic. Yes, Magic. There we go. Okay, Tam, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talk about video games, man. You know I always appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Hopefully, actually, we won't be here next week.
No. What's happening here? We're just okay. We're all syncing. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. All right. We are off of YouTube.